Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading Satellite Office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Monday, March the 18th, 2013, and here is today's After the Bell Market Summary brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. I want to first off by taking a look to see how the indices closed the session out here for the day. The Dow Jones was down 62 points, the Nasdaq was down 11.5 points, and the S&P 500 was down a little over 8.5 points. If we take a look at the breadth on the market today, we had 4,081 issues declining on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex. We had 2,072 issues advancing on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex. So therefore, breadth was in favor of the bears today, just about a 2-to-1 ratio. Two of the strongest stocks in the market today was Apple, HPQ, Verizon held up pretty well, and a lot of the stocks rallied off of their lows to close near their highs or pretty much previous day's close flat. As you guys know, we had some news out of Europe from this little country or branch in Athens, Cyprus, a Bank of Cyprus branch in Athens it is. I haven't had a chance to read too much into the news, but I do know that there was a bank run or a lot of depositors were coming to take their money out of their accounts as the government was looking to backstop their deposits or something of that sort. Again, I have not read much into the news because at the end of the day, I could care less about the news. We're pretty much more focused on the price action since we're active intraday traders. Of course, if you're a swing trader, you want to take this more into consideration. But if you're in and out of positions intraday or you're not holding any overnights, you're able to start off with a fresh start, and that's what we do here at WallStreetTrading.com. Of course, we hold some overnights. People hedge with options, whatever the case may be. In other words, we came in today with a fresh mind, clean slate, not having to worry about it being in a position that gapped down or being in a position that just got murdered because of this news that happened overseas in Europe. You know, again, the euro got smashed here. All right, 1 second here. The euro pretty much gapped down and buyers came in the dollar. And that pretty much started fading a little bit throughout the day as there were talks going on and how, we could possibly help them out over there and stuff like that. That kind of calmed the market down, and volatility got squeezed back out the market, which we'll take a look at that chart as well. So let's go ahead and jump into the charts here, starting off with the SPY. The SPY was down 86 cents, down a little over 0.5%. We are still above the rising 20-day simple moving averages here, simple and exponential moving averages around the 153.43 area. Those are going to be the key moving averages to work against now since we're below the key short-term moving averages, the 8 and 5 EMA SMA, which we've been using ever since we were holding above those levels, ever since we were holding above those moving averages here since the start of the year. We broke below those moving averages. Sellers came back in. We recaptured them back again about 2 weeks ago, and buyers came back in. And, again, the chart does not look very damaging on the SPY at all by any means. The Qs obviously look a little bit more damaging than the SPYs. They have not made New Year highs or anything like that yet. But again, we do have to take today's action into consideration and let you know that some people are a bit spooked there. Another thing to take notice of, we do have 2 consecutive lower closes here. All right, that's one thing to take note of. But the chart on the daily time frame here, the SPY does not look damaging at all. Really, until we start breaking, I would say, back below 153.30. Possible head and shoulders pattern here. All right, I'm just bringing out a possible scenario, possible head and shoulders pattern that could be forming here. But it wouldn't really break down until we break all the way back below 140, 153, trade to 149, bounce back up, put that right shoulder in, then roll over below 149. That's just a possible scenario. Another scenario that takes place is, we just sell off a little bit, chop around this 153 level, which was prior resistance, will now act as support, hold these 20-day moving averages, and, ride right back up to the highs. Because, again, volatility just came out the market like nobody had any fear today. So if you were looking to buy the dip, today was definitely a day to maybe nibble at some positions and initiate some starter positions and go from there. So tomorrow, going into tomorrow's session, which I think could be a little pause day tomorrow or a little sell-off, but then we close right back up kind of in the middle of the range or something like that. Just a possible scenario. Levels you want to watch for tomorrow is today's lows around 154.20, call it 154, and then today's highs around 155.64 on the SPY. If we take a look at the triple Qs, were down 15 cents All right, one pattern here that I wanted to show you guys is this possible rising wedge scenario that we have played out here. Let me take off the studies here so you can see the chart a little bit cleaner, and you can see how we have a rising wedge that is forming here. Now, it's not a breakdown of a rising wedge until we actually break below the bottom trend line, get some confirmations, and we start selling off, and you see the sellers come in. At the same time, they could just chop us in this little area right here, and we could hold up, going into the second quarter here. So, again, rising wedge, is in play as a pattern is here, but it's really not in play to the short side until we break below that. And until then, you really have to stay with what the market's doing right now. And right now, the tone is bullish. Take a look at the triple Qs. The triple Qs came down. They obviously gapped down. They sold off a little bit, and they rallied right back above 68. So that means they filled this gap right here that we had from 2 weeks ago when we gapped up. They held the gap low right here, and they recovered. And they held the 68 level. So all in all, and they held 50% of the range there. So all in all, today's action was a win for the bulls, especially on the triple Qs. I mean, a lot of that would have to be because of Apple and Hewlett Packard. They were strong stocks today in the market, and that definitely helped the triple Qs close up near the upper part of the range there. But going into tomorrow or going into the rest of this week here, you want to see if the 68 level holds. If the 68 level does not hold, we're going to be looking for a move back towards today's lows, and then back towards the 67.38 area. If 68 holds and we hold the 68.36 today's close, look for a move back up towards the 68.60s, 69s, we should say here. Going into the rest of the week, we'll see how that plays out. Let's take a look at the IWM, the Russell 2000. The IWM was down 52 cents today here. This one's still looking pretty good as well. I took off the studies, but I'll add them back here in a quick second. But holding above 93 is still a pretty bullish tone on the IWM. The IWM is really not going to be bearish, or at least bearish in the sense of looking for a pullback, a big pullback, really until we break below 93 or 92.69 and get some consecutive closes. Then we can possibly expect a pullback back inside this channel. If not, if we continue to hold above this key trend line that I have marked from these inflection points right here, which allows us to draw this channel, all right, then we should continue to see this thing trade sideways to higher. If I put the moving averages back here on this chart with the studies here, you can see we're still holding above the key moving averages of 20. You can even see the IWM held above the 8 EMA and actually slightly closed above the 5 EMA, which is the short-term moving averages that we have been using to gauge this little nice short-term momentum, well, this nice momentum we have in the market. So levels to watch in the IWM: today's lows 93.67, today's highs 94.61. All right, let's talk about that infamous VIX today, which gapped up and faded back down near the lows. Even though we did have some buying in the VIX coming to the late part of the session. I mean, we were trading the VXX in the chat room today. This had some decent action on it, but take a look at the buying that came into the close here. All right, a nice little downward channel action here. You can see on the 5-minute. Held a nice little higher low. Volume came in and some buyers stepped right back up. And I believe this was due to some news that came out near the end of the session. I'm not exactly sure what the news was, but either way, they came in and they bought some volatility. And it's funny because the market really did not sell out that hard for the volatility to get bought up like this. So that's pretty interesting. And we're gonna have to gauge that going into tomorrow's session. So we'll see how that plays out. But that's the VXX. Let's go back to the VIX. The VIX is at 1336. All right, we are back above these little shakeout lows that we did down here. So this is a little scenario here. Anybody that shorts volatility below 1225, they could be in a possible bear trap right here. All right, I would like to see the VIX get back above 1356 or back above the low of this candle right here from 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when we had that big selling pressure that came in, which, as you guys can see now, hindsight, was an opportunity to buy and was a nice little shakeout, kind of like how today was. But today could be a little bit different because we did have some nice fear coming to the market, and the volatility index did close off the lows there. So we'll see how that plays out going into tomorrow. Apple, very strong stock in the market today here. AAPL, Apple Computers. All right, this thing was up $12.06, up close to 3%, up 2.72%. Obviously, this thing looks like it wants to hit 466, which is the declining 50 EMA estimate. That's the next target on that. If we were to break past that and momentum was to pick up still and dip buyers were hanging in there, look for this thing possibly to go back towards 480. As you can see, anybody that was trying to short below these lows right here, they're pretty much in a losing position right now. And the more Buyers, the more buyers that come in Apple, the more pain that they're going to feel down there if they're still holding those shorts. So we'll see how that plays out. Hewlett Packard, I believe they got upgraded today and caused for a nice little move in the stock. The stock has been on a nice little uptrend ever since it broke out this little range right here. I believe we traded it on this day. We traded it on one of these expansion days, I recall, from our trading room. By the way, and if you have not been to our trading room yet, go to wallstreettrading.com, fill out the 14-day free trial on the front page on the right-hand side, and you will get the email credentials sent to you within about 2 minutes or so, and you'll be able to log into the chat room, see how we maneuver through the markets with the ES and with these individual stocks. So check it out; it's good stuff. So Hewlett Packard, another strong stock today, along with Apple. Amazon, the stock has been showing relative weakness. Does not look like it's ready to get out of its way yet. Not sure what's going on over here. One thing I do know is that a lot of people are positioned to the bull side off this little nice up move, nice sideways consolidation, and they woke up to a surprise on Thursday morning when they came out with the news about their Foxconn, with their Foxconn factory, some issues over there, and ever since then, this thing has been selling off, and I think it has to do with them having some delays in some of the production of their tablets or their I forgot what the name of their tablet is, or their little ebook reader thing they have there. I forgot what the name of it. The Kindle. That's what it is, the Kindle. So we'll see. Amazon showing relative weakness. It's not looking good. Looks like it wants to come down towards these 255s, which is about $2.89 lower. So there's still a little bit more juice there. We break below that level, you're going to be looking at 250. The financials, I would say I was looking for some more, some better action out of Wells Fargo. I was looking for this thing to gap down and maybe try to rally back up like some of the stocks did, and it did not. A little inside day there. Goldman Sachs was showing a little bit of weakness during the early part of the session. Broke down a little bit, then recovered below. Once it broke below 151, it recovered right back up and closed in you can see near the bottom range of Friday's action. Goldman Sachs, though, this one was trading a bit weaker compared to the other banks out there. Citigroup, this one was trading sideways for a majority of the day till it finally caught some legs here. Take a look at the 15-minute chart. You can see this thing was pretty much trading sideways, rallied up a bit, trapped some people that tried to buy this a little long about this little breakout high, expecting that gap fill action. Pulled back in, made new highs, and pulled back in. So a lot of chop action today in this market while the market was grinding higher as dip buyers came in. And dip buyers came in, the market traded higher, but a lot of the stocks were trading sideways in a choppy fashion to higher. And really, unless you bought the market on the open, it was kind of hard to pick entry in stocks. We did have some decent action coming out of the coal sector. BTU had some takeover chatter, and this stock had a nice little pop, sold back off to close in the middle, 50% of its range. CNX had a nice day today as well, feeding off of that, not CNC, sorry about that. CNX feeding a bit off that BTU news. Nice little expansion there. This one looks good to go higher tomorrow. We'll keep an eye on the stock for tomorrow. And then you can take a look at WLT. Popped up a little bit, but sold back down. A&R showed some early morning strength and sold off a little bit. Here you can see gave back just about 50% of its action today, closing near the lows. So the ones you want to go to if you're looking to play the coal stocks tomorrow will be the BTU, the CNX, and let's see how these coal mining companies that make the equipment did today here. Joe White Global, nothing there. So yeah, so I mean, take a look at the coal sector, BTU, CNX. Apple was strong, HPQ was strong. The financials are definitely going to be on watch tomorrow. We'll see how that plays out. Aside from that, folks, sorry about the late video. Have a great night, and I'll catch you guys in the war room tomorrow. MyWallStreetTV.com. To get the password to log in, go to WallStreetTrading.com and fill out the form on the right-hand side. Have a good night, folks. Channel Guy Trader checking out. Peace.